Elizabethan audiences. Intro. Hi, welcome to my presentation thing about Elizabethan audiences. I think I accidentally chose the topic with the most amount of readings. Moral of the story, kids, make sure you read the assignment thoroughly and throughly, so hopefully it doesn't go over 10 minutes. If it does, my bad, y'all. Hopefully you at least find my ramblings somewhat interesting, or you get a nice nap. Controversy. The first testimony talked about how the theaters taught people to murder and slay, revel and commit treason, to condemn God and care for neither heaven, or heaven as this person calls it, or hell, to swear and learn falsehood, deceit, and blasphemy. Another person so affectionately described cedars as snares, fair woman, said they were full of secret adultery and a thorn in the sides of the godly. Poison for us modern folk, to beholders. So as you can tell, the theaters were clearly beloved by all. Barbarously rude, neither gentlemen nor citizens, more words the critics say. Riots. Some of the plays that may have been performed were Greens to Quock, The Devil of Edmonton, The Jew of Malta. I'm not sure exactly what these plays are about because it doesn't talk about it much in the readings, so I'm not sure if it was actually about a devil in Edmonton. Wait, did Edmonton even exist back then? No, I guess it wouldn't have, hey, since Canada wasn't even a real country yet. Or if there were any Jews in Malta. But if there were, they probably would have been in hiding, since they didn't really like Jews in the medieval era. On holy days, people would occasionally go to the theaters to watch the violence. Sometimes, at the end of tragedies, there would be actual tragedies, with the plays ending in riots. Spectators mounting the stage, benches, tiles, stone, apples, and oranges thrown around. Nothing but noise and tumult, as this one person describes it. Tumult is another word for confusion, disorder, or a loud noise caused by a large mass of people. If you didn't know what that word meant, it's okay. I didn't either. Production. An Elizabethan production would have music and pantomime, entertainment/performances involving expression and gestures through music, so foreigners and people who didn't speak English would still be able to have a fun time when visiting the theaters. Some of the ways they would captivate the attention of foreigners was with sumptuous, splendid and expensive-looking dresses that the actors wore, the music, and the singing and dancing. Orazio Bacino, one of the sources included in the hundreds of papers that I had to read to make this presentation, said his favorite part was seeing all the nobility watching the shows. Also the prostitutes. But was she a whore like Thais? The prostitutes were described as richly dressed, wearing fine diamonds and gloves. 3 gloves on top of the other, apparently. Playhouse manners of a gallant. I had to look up what a gallant means. It means a man who is kind and polite towards women. Anyways, this old dead guy named Thomas Decker talks about how he believes a gallant should behave in a playhouse, which is another word for theater. No, I didn't have to search that word up this time. He mentions something about the playhouse receiving the afternoon's rent, so I'm guessing it's about a gallant paying their way in? Old English is hard to understand sometimes. And to advance. I guess another word for advance? Also, fun fact, this word is now dead and obsolete. Just yourself to the throne of the stage. He also mentions not sitting with the waiting women and gentlemen ushers who sweat together and get smothered to death in darkness. He states that by sitting on the stage an eminence is gotten, fame or superiority. He talks a lot about the importance of sitting on the stage. He goes on for like a page and a half about it. By sitting on the stage, you can ask whose play it is. If you're a knight, get a mistress, and to conclude whether you're a fool or justice of peace, a cuckold or a captain. He lost me at this part of the reading. Then he says that the gentleman and the fool should never sit on the stage together. He mentions publishing your temperance to the world, and that you might disrelish, a feeling of dislike or distaste, the audience and disgrace the author to get the poet to take pity on you. No offense to this Thomas guy, even though he probably died like 4 centuries ago, but this chapter thing he wrote is so long and hard to follow. It keeps dragging on, and it's literally so boring to read. I don't know. Maybe it made more sense in the 1600s? A courtly audience. In London after Christmas Day, there was a series of sumptuous, there's that word again, banquets and comedies in the king's court. They danced for the king and his court to the sound of cornets. Cornets are a bass instrument similar to the trumpet, and trumpets. It was a huge deal. There would be a number of singers and actors performing for the royal court and His Majesty. Some wore masks or dressed as gods and goddesses. This one particular story ended at 2:30 in the morning. Like me, pulling an all-nighter to get this done. Conclusion. In conclusion, theater has changed a lot over the years. For example, we no longer throw things if we don't like the ending of a play. We'll just complain about it online. I don't know, I'm not really sure what to put for the conclusion. I feel like I should put something down though. Anyways, like I said in the intro, hopefully this video presentation thing didn't go over 10 minutes. I'm not really sure how long this presentation is going to be at the time of writing this because I haven't started editing it yet. Wouldn't it be awkward if it turned out to only be like 5 minutes long? I hope you learned something today. I know I learned something. Specifically, a list of words. Here's a list of all the new words I learned. New words I learned. Tumult, confusion and disorder. Pantomime, expression through music. Sumptuous, splendid and expensive looking. Gallant, a man who is kind, polite, and considerate towards women. Advance, elevate, another word for advance. I don't know. It says on the internet that it's dead and obsolete. Eminence, fame or superiority. Disrelish, a feeling of dislike or distaste. Cornets, bass instruments similar to the trumpet. Also, can we acknowledge that it is kind of weird, but also cool, how we're reading the words of dead people? I wonder if they would have consented to us reading their writing, or if they would have been upset that we're critiquing their work. Or maybe they'd think it's cool how their writing is still being read all these centuries later. I know I'd think it was cool if my writing was being read by stressed-out university students the night before an assignment is due. If that's not immortality, then I don't know what is.